changed a little bit since you've been on, hasn't it, guys? Hello.
That was all very posh. That was it. Tom needs to up the game on endless banter.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear you, Chris. Yeah. Who's playing iPhone?
Oh, that's me. Well, none of you could hear me before, so I thought I'd play a game while I waited for that fucking stupid credits to
No,
roll.
we couldn't hear you. We were just ignoring you.
Good evening, welcome to...
What?
Nothing. What is that noise? Is that you, Chris?
No, that noise is my parrot, and unfortunately, he hasn't got a mute button.
Good evening, welcome to Vape Talk UK, episode 163, a weekend to remember. As you could probably guess, we're two of our team down. It's going to happen.
We've replaced him with better people, don't we?
What, Chandler?
Well, we've replaced Chandler with someone better, being Paul. We've replaced Cass with someone marginally better, being Dale. Shit in this game, man.
How we all been?
Not too bad.
All
I
right.
just feel like shut up, bird. I feel like I need a 14-hour sleep. I'm still knackered.
I got home from work yesterday, put Darcy down to bed, sat down on the bed, and then woke up at 7:30 this morning. I was exhausted, literally.
Parrot just told you to fuck off then.
It's like being at home. It's either Lindsay or our parrot. Oh dear.
Your parrot's rude, isn't it, Mark?
My parrot? No, my parrot doesn't. She don't swear, does she?
Fucking hell.
Oh, she says fucking hell apparently in Lindsay's voice, but that's about it. She's considerably well behaved. Unless you put a finger near her and then she'll have it off.
Only if you're male.
But only if you're male. Ah.
Ours will
I-
tell anybody to male,
Tropical.
female.
Animals.
What'd you say, Dale?
I don't do like tropical and lizards and parrots and shit. You can tell what dogs. I'm not even half sold on cat, to be honest. I've been thinking about chucking it in canal lately.
And I'm sure Dale's joking before the activists start.
He's
No.
not joking.
Oh dear, you love Frank.
Well, I'm not on about Frank. Frank's fucked off. Frank's going to live with her.
Someone
And
else.
I've got another cat. Becca's brought her cat now, which is a fucking demon thing that my 6-foot dog's terrified of, and it just walks around the house doing what it fucking likes. It pissed in the shower the other day. I was, yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, it plug hole, but it just walked in while having a shit and it pissed in the shower. I don't think it knows how many airsoft guns I've got. I'm going to write that fucking thing off and then throw it in the road.
See, we got a kitten.
So you think the cat's got issues, but maybe the cat coming to have a piss in the toilet and couldn't because you were taking a shit. This cat might be cleverer than what. So,
Well, see, listen, we got a cat, and I swear to God, it was allowed to leave its mother too early, right? Because it didn't know how to be a cat. So it was trying to be like my boy Rudy. Dale, you've met him. He's a bit mental. So like Rudy's like trying to draw on the telly in crayon, and the fucking cat's trying to work out how to open the crayons. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking. It was honestly. It thought it was a kid.
That's a step up, mate, because all Rudy does is see you eating crayons.
But yeah, the cat didn't know how to be a cat, and it was like fucking the whole house up whilst Rudy was doing it too. So we were like, we need to sort this cat out. And she was like, oh, we'll give it one last chance. Then one night it jumped into the bath, did a shit, and then it was too small to get back out the bath. So he spent the whole fucking night running up and sliding back down, smearing shit around the whole inside of the bath. I was like, right, that cat is fucking out of here, mate.
That sounds like a night out with Chris, to be fair.
It sounds like Chris in the bath.
Like I'm going to fit in a bath.
What I want to know is, Chris, why have you got a pet when I have been with you when you have lost your child, let alone an animal?
I ain't putting that up live on fucking YouTube.
Okay, Chris, you definitely lost your child on holiday.
But I found
Why have you got?
him.
No, we found him.
Hopefully. Look, can we not go through this live on YouTube, please?
Okay, I'll do it on Facebook.
And I'm steaming up.
Because you're
Cool.
hot stuff.
So we'll do a quick round robin then. Who's vaping on what? Let's start with Chris because it's usually the easiest one.
I'm actually vaping on a Rock Mods DNA 75 with a Kennedy 24 with a reduced airflow cap. Get that bad boy out. At a cool 40 watts. Fuck, drop my phone. Vaping on some of this beast. Wait, sorry, copyright infringement. Some of this.
Don't start, Chris.
That fucking rhubarb and ginger gin is superb. It actually tastes like rhubarb and ginger gin. So I can't really complain with that. So yeah, I'm using that. Been using that since I actually finally put Nick in it. And I've also got my billet box 45mg Nick salts as always. But this stuff is fucking amazing. Off to you.
Off to you, Dale.
I'm on my second billet box. With Rob. It got stolen at Manchester Expo, well, the hotel at Manchester Expo, by what I unfortunately believe to be the what's the word, representatives of another company, which should have remained unnamed, but the squad in question can go fuck themselves. And, yeah, I had to get another one out, and then I'm on my Cleto with some raspberry in it.
What the fuck mod was that?
Like an high power, my beta mod.
You should stick to those because every time you get a nice mod out, they either get lost or stolen.
I won't mind, but they were both on the counter and they nicked the fucking billet box. They left that.
Are you surprised? That also points more to the fact it was nicked rather than lost, considering the shit one was still there and the billet box was gone.
I put lost loosely on that status to be mildly polite. Some shite, didn't it? Right? And I know there were 4 people stood next to me at the bar, all working for the same company. And Paul and Mark will tell you, I walk past their stand every half hour waiting for some cunt to have that in their hand. And they were coming straight over to the table if one of them whipped out an oyster blue billet box.
Can someone inbox me the name of the company? Obviously, we don't want to mention it out loud.
Mate, I can't. But if we mention the name, it's only going to cause a riot.
Right.
Paul, what are you vaping on?
A billet box that I got off someone from Expo. I was vaping on the AO Nautilus AO Aspire thing, which is fantastic, but my battery's just died. I got probably 1 drag. And I've also got the Aspire Cobble. Both of them have got 12mg Vampire Vape blood supplement.
I thought you bought a fancy new car and that was the key.
Mate, you know what? Honestly, I would say that this Cobble is probably up there with the best mouth-to-lung device I've ever used.
Really?
Which one was that?
The Cobble.
Cobble.
The Aspire Cobble. The flavour's on point. The battery, I don't even know what battery's in this, but it lasts for fucking ever. And it just vapes really well. It's easy enough to fill up. The pod comes off easy enough. You can see you got a viewing window on that side, so you can't see it on the camera because it's quite dark. But there is a viewing pod there. It's tiny. 4 feet. And it just vapes really well. I don't even know what coil it is. I literally got one out of the shop, set it up, and it's banging.
I got to say that the Aspire that you've got there as well. I was quite impressed by that at the weekend.
I mean, obviously, Aspire have dropped some gear in the last fucking 4 weeks, man. I think it's pissed off quite a few retailers because they're dropping a new mod about every fucking 5 days. But
Well, they've dropped the Breeze 2, and then not a month later brought the AIO out, which is basically a Breeze 2 with a silver button. Then they've brought the Sprite, that cobble out.
it's also got a different core system in this to the AIO, to the Breeze 2.
Is it Nautilus coil?
Literally uses a standard Nautilus core. So, I mean, to be fair, the vape off this is banging as well. But I've been using it since maybe 7:30 this morning, and it's just run out on me now. But that I've used that exclusively all day. I only took the cobble because I weren't sure how long this was going to last me. So it's lasted me about 13 hours, and that's, to be fair, I filled it twice today as well. So whatever liquid I had left yesterday, plus 4 mil. Plus, I just filled it before we went live, so it's done about 5 mil of liquid.
There you go. Jimmy's saying the cobble's 700 milliamp hour.
Well, it might be 700 milliamp hour. Without a doubt, it lasts longer than the Sprite, and it lasts longer than that, because I did use this all day before, and it lasted me all day. So I don't know whether it's just because I mean, that's a 1.8. I've got a 1.8 in there, and whatever comes standard in there, I'm not sure. I'm guessing probably a 1.8 as well, or thereabout. But the battery just seems to last better on it.
You see, what I liked about the AIO was the adjustable airflow. That's one thing that hacked me off about the Breeze. Was that you couldn't adjust the airflow. It was just too loose for me.
You can on the Breeze 2 though.
Ah, right.
You can adjust the airflow on the Breeze 2, but it's still not. It's not fully adjustable, is it, Dale?
I've got limited knowledge on it, to be honest. I've got one, but I haven't really used it much. I just saw that it
adjusts, but I'm sure you put the pod in the other way or something, and then it picks up a different side of the. I can't remember. I know the airflow on the AO Nautilus is the same style as the airflow on the Sprite, where it's actually on the base of the where you screw the coil in, then you screw the whole base into the bottom of the pod. The adjustable airflow on the AO Nautilus is exactly the same as the way you adjust the airflow on the Sprite. And to be fair, I think for me, the Sprite and the AO are nigh on identical type vapes, but one's using BVC coil and one's using the Nautilus BVC, or whichever Nautilus you prefer to use.
I really like the Sprite.
I love the Sprite, but it's 650 mAh, and actually that lasted me less than that. I took the Sprite, I charged the Sprite fully, and I run out at work at about 2:30. So literally lasted me, I don't know, from 8 o'clock until 2:30, whatever that is. I can't be asked to work out the maths.
You vote quite a lot, don't you, Paul?
I mean, literally, you see me the weekend, mate. I was chonging I've still carried my AO, even though I'm using these two devices and love them. And the reason being that the Joytech AO is 2000 mAh, and I've never ever had it run out on me in a day. So I put that on charge every single night. I leave it to charge overnight, and it's never, even if I've been up till fucking 2 o'clock in the morning, I've never had that thing run out of charge on me. And then if I've not charged it, I've probably still got some days I've not charged it, and I've got back home from work, and then it's run out. So it's given me at least a day and a half, a day and 3/4 of constant. So I can vape 6 mil a day mouth to lung on that type of device, which is a fair bit of liquid to get through.
We're being asked
How
in
much
chat.
are they?
Right, so the cobble's $24.99.
No, the
Joytech AO, we do the pen one, which is $24.99. We do the standard box, which is also 2000 mAh, for $29.99, and the resin one, which is the AO Pro, is $34.99. So I would think, well, I'm guessing it's probably been 18 months since I've exclusively used an AO as a mouth to lung device, and I had the standard AO, which has got the same type airflow on as the old Me one, where you can't actually see where the airflow is, but when you twist the top, it does adjust it. And the reason why it's the same as the Me one is because the Me one blatantly copied Joytech's design. It uses the same coil as the AO and everything else. And then on the Pro box, the difference is that one, You've got a switch to turn it off. You've also got a switch to run it on watt mode, where it automatically adjusts the watts depending on what core you've got in there. So I think with the 0.6, it's at about 15 watts. With the 1 ohm, it drops down to about 12 watts, and you can put one of the do the sub ohm in that. I'm sure it'll fire up to 40 watts, but I only ever run it at 15 watts. But you can't change that; it just automatically adjusts with the coil. And then you've got another switch which basically bypass, so it'll just run off the battery power instead of watts. So it'll just automatically pull whatever current the battery will give out, depending on what core you've got in there. In essence, the Pro and the standard AO box are pretty much the same battery. It's just got a resin casing on there, and the airflow is slightly better on the Pro as well, because you can actually physically see it, so you can change your airflow to a level that you can see, and it don't move. Like on the first one, it's a little bit ropey.
You're happy with them?
Yeah, you know what I'm at. I can't even. We had the AOs in. I would think about early part of 2017, and I can honestly say it's the first device I set up. I used a Nautilus for a long time, and whenever I've used a Nautilus tank since, even if it's testing the customers in the shop, I honestly think they're quite lacking in flavour compared to these new coils, where the coil is literally sat under the mouthpiece. And the top airflow and the way that it works, you've got no chimney at all. You're straight from core to mouth. So that's the same as these pod devices. It's the same as the Nautilus AO. The flavour off this Nautilus AO I was actually really impressed with. But the Joytech AO is the first device that I've used this phrase before and people laugh at me, but it was the first device that I used that had the same ramp up time as a cigarette. And that's the only way I can explain it, where I could press the button, take a drag, and I'd got my drag. Most other devices to that point, including the Nautilus, I had to double drag it, because if I put the wattage too high so it ramps up quick enough, my vapor's too harsh. And for me to get the vapor I like it, I'd have to double drag the actual tank. The AO 0.6 stainless steel coil is genuinely the first coil where I can just take a drag like I was pulling on a cigarette, and it just come up. The flavour was good, and it's small, and it's light, and for what it was at the time, for 18 months ago, that type of device for 30 quid for me was reasonably priced as well.
You see the blue that blue thing that takes 0.6. And
you know what, man? That is exactly. I've got one upstairs as well. That is the only thing that it's akin to a Joytech AO. That is, it's got the same. That's got the same style of airflow control as the original Joytech AO box, where you can move it and it will adjust the airflow, but you can't see it. But actually, I think that's why I really like that product as well, because it actually is pretty much it's exactly the same style of vape as the AO box, exactly, because it's the same coil.
Yeah.
These pod systems are taking over the world, but I saw this the other day, which intrigued me.
We'll suck dick for a joule. Who's on that picture?
You can definitely have mine.
Is it just some random bird?
How do I flip it round?
Flip what
round? Is it the
round?
right way round for you, lot?
Yeah.
Alright. We'll suck dick for a dual pods.
Mate, you can get the blue dual fucking thing for £1. You get a fucking clean up there for £1. Money well spent.
That's the Von L, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is the Von L, you're right.
She'll only give you a handy for that.
To be honest, mate, I reckon looking at her, I'd rather have a wank off her than a chew. Obviously, I'd rather have nothing, because Tasha's just pointed out, because I'm obviously happily married, and that's obviously not even a sort of thing I'd venture into anyway.
I'm loving this iPhone thing. Look. Brilliant.
How are you doing that, chat? How are you doing that? Are you airstreaming that or something to the?
Yeah, this is actually genuinely what's on my screen. I don't want to flick through too much because I don't know what's coming next.
Well, how is that going up onto an iMac?
No, that's off my phone.
Yeah, I'm saying how is it showing on you? What's on your? How is it matching up? What's like? Why is it playing on your screen?
I've connected it to my camera. When your stepdad Terry drinks on your Mountain Dew and has loud sex to your mouth with your mouth.
Brilliant. Anyway, I'm vaping on the.
I remember when Chris was funny.
Some ropey pictures of you on here, Dales. Let's start.
Joel was saying about this software. The beauty is, I can mute anyone at any time. So if Chris tries to talk, he's wasted his breath.
You don't need a mute button for Chris to waste his breath.
Anyway, so my battery died. I was actually using exactly the same as what Dale was using before the show, and I got 2 days out of an iPower, and it died just before the show. So I'm using the VGod Trick Life, because it was the first mod I could put my hands on, running on a Berserker, and in that I'm vaping on Cherry Cola, salt from
Juice Source.
Juice Source, there we go. From Juice Source. I am also vaping, well, I'm about to vape on, if I don't throw it all on the floor. Oh, I've lost the lid. I picked up an SQ at the weekend from who did I get it from? Matt. Yeah, Matt at Zeus Juice. Yeah. Not wicked up yet, and I'm just about to give this stuff a try. But I was convinced to give it a try by Paul. It is I like flugel binders, or
Like what?
flugel binders. Isn't that what that end's called? Oh, come on! Have you never watched the film Cocktail? Surely you have.
I've never heard the word flugel binder.
Flugel binder. It's apparently it's what that bit of a shoelace is called.
Is it really?
I don't know. It's what they say in the film, so I just go with it. And I obviously paid a lot of attention during Cocktail, enough to go for IP theft. Apparently. Yeah. So apparently the ease is that you literally. Shall I go full screen? You shove. Oh, you say shove it through it. Ain't going through it. It's a 2.5mm coil.
Flugel binder in the hole.
Oh no, it's in. We're in. So through the coil. Literally just give it a pull.
Yeah. I mean, normally what I'll do is, Mark, 2.5 is the minimum that they recommend, but they'll say it'll wick up to a 4mm as well. On a 2.5, I'll normally grab the 2 flugel binders, whatever they are, and twist them backwards on themselves just to tighten it up a bit to get it through and then pull it through. But I'll normally use at least a 3mm, but I have used them in 4mm just to say. Last time I built a 2.5mm coil, I was probably running on a Methiso clone and thought that I was Cloud King of the day.
See, when I grab a pair of flugel binders, I loop, swoop, and pull, and then walk out the door.
You know what? It's gone through pretty easily.
Yeah.
Straight in.
Today I found a picture of your friend from holiday when we were in Spain.
What a prick.
I hid the hand. Dale's got a fear of prawns. So I took that out of the paella and I hid it underneath the menu on holiday. And he was like, oh, what's for dinner? Picks it up and fucking nearly shit himself. Did you check your
You should get your own back. You should get your own back, Dale, and put like a gym membership underneath it next time for Chris, so when he picks it up, he sees a gym membership.
Jump for a dead roof.
Pass out, mate.
The reaction to the gym membership will be the most exercise he'd done ever.
I think it's funny that us 3 fat people are all slagging each other off for being fat. It's quite...
You can't play the fat card anymore. You are allowed. You've had your fat card taken off you.
Nah, I bought it. I sold it, or sold myself to the devil, so I can still eat cake and not be so fat.
Have you seen how long Mark's fingers are?
How long Mark's fingers are?
Yeah. Is this your feet, Mark?
That is my feet, yeah.
It's wildly in proportion, though. Saying that, there were a geezer at Expo, taller than Mark, walking round. He were like one of those aliens got stabbed in the neck in Men in Black 2, about fucking 7'16".
But he was kind of bent forward, wasn't he? He was an odd-looking fellow, wasn't he?
Wouldn't you be bent forward if you were fucking 9'4"? He's not used to walking through fucking doors and warehouse fucking gullies. He's got to fucking walk like that all the time.
And you know what? I actually empathise with people as well, because he stood in front of me when Professor Green was on stage. It was like, you inconsiderate bastard. And in the SQ, I'm giving that a try. Coffee Donuts from Bear State Vapor. I've really started liking the coffee stuff again recently.
Oh, I'm finding some right crackers looking back at these old pictures.
Why did you put your phone down, take part, Chris?
Don't be silly. I'm not sure Ollie's watching, but I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So, at the weekend, for those of you that, haven't been on social media for the past month, there was the Vapor Lifestyle Expo in Manchester. And those who are anyone were there, and those that are no one weren't there.
Okay.
And I've got to be honest, I had a cracking fucking weekend. I think it was an incredible weekend, and I tip my hat off to the organisers. Well done to Emil, Paul, and the rest of the crew at Island Vape for putting it on. How did everyone else get on with the weekend?
You know what? I was really apprehensive about doing it before I spoke to Emil at Vape Fest, and I said this on Endless Banter a few weeks ago. I genuinely decided to cancel my holiday and make Tom come to this event because that man is bursting with passion. But even I spoke to him for about half an hour at Fest, and you just knew that he was busting his ball. I'd seen his live feeds all over Facebook prior to that, and he was like the first person I used to love a live feed back in the day. I'd do a live feed at any given opportunity just because I couldn't be asked to type out statuses and stuff like that. But meeting that man at Fest and having half an hour with him, I actually said to Tasha when I got home on the Sunday, I really think that we should do it and support him. And then I got down there Thursday and I seen the size of the venue and I was like, what the fuck have I come to? And then I realised that I was just in one hall and there was more to it, and there was stuff outside and there was skateboards and there was arcades and stuff like that. And then I can honestly say we probably broke even this weekend, which for an event of that size is not a bad thing. Bearing in mind I'd done the stand as cheaply as I could just because I didn't want to throw too much dough at it. But I enjoyed that event. I said to Dexter actually earlier, I was talking to Dexter, who is as mad as a box of fucking frogs on crack. That apart from the fact that Tasha went there, and I genuinely miss her not being at these things, it was without a doubt the best event that I've done. I felt like a bit of an old school Vape Fest, indoor, outdoor style buzz in there. I don't know, I can't really explain it. I love the event. I had a wicked weekend. I had a good laugh. I had a good chat with all the people I wanted to have a chat to. I got a hug off Dale. I got a hug off Mark. And I really enjoyed it. I loved it. And I think next year he has put in a wicked foundation for a top show next year. That was my general feelings for that week. I even found a meal before I left on Sunday just to congratulate him. And I've never done that in any event because I'm too tired. But I actually made sure I found him before I left. I know he was stressing on Sunday about numbers and stuff. And I said, mate, for me, I would never have gauged this weekend about what we took on the till. I actually gauged it by the people that were there. He pulled all the right names, was there. The layout for me worked. The downside was probably just because of the stuff like that. But generally, fantastic. I loved it. I had a wicked weekend. So.
Yeah, no, I didn't actually get a chance to speak to Emil, and I actually rang him today to thank him for such an incredible weekend. I think for, like you say, for the first event, it was brilliant. I turned up Thursday, and as I always do, I turn up late. Turned up on the Thursday, and even the vibe whilst people were setting up was just incredible. And you're not the first person to liken it to Vape Fest. I was talking.
Didn't Damon turn up? Didn't Damon turn up? Surely that put a dampener on the whole thing.
No, Damon turned up. Come and give me a hug. Come and said hello. Good to see him.
Yep.
Good to see him out and about.
What was your thoughts, Dale?
This pretty much the same as you two. Like the atmosphere was reminiscent of an early Expo. Now I'm not slamming Expo by any means, but Expo, when you vend every single one of them, is a lot more repetitive than when you go to them as a consumer at every single one of them, because consumer look at shows through different eyes than we do. And obviously this Expo in October was going to be what, mine and your 6th or 5th, Paul. And they are great events. I'm not anyway slagging them off, but it gets repetitive, and the longer you do them, the more better it gets. And it just reminded me of how excited I was to do the first one. And the closer it got to it, I was a bit like, I was like you, Paul, I was apprehensive before I got there. So I didn't go wild on the stand. And I genuinely enjoyed, like I said, the atmosphere was good, but it was weird. Like, from the second it opened to the second it finished, it was good weird. But, like, it was completely reversed to Expo for us. Like, the retail side of things were great. Obviously, seeing customers, and a lot of faces were quite new. But we didn't do much in retail whatsoever. We did good on wholesale, but based on financials afterwards, that's the best show we've ever done, including Stuttgart, including everywhere. And I don't know if that's because of the distribution base in Manchester. Obviously, there were a lot of distributors there and stuff like that, which is good. But as far as the show went and the following success, it's definitely been 5, 6, 7 times better than any show I've ever done. People were coming up to us for manufacturing, which we hadn't advertised at that show. That was just planned for Expo. But obviously, we did live feeds building the lab up and stuff, so people knew about it. And we had deals coming from that more than anything else. We were just surreal, because usually, Paul, you know, and Mark, I don't do fuck all at Expos. I've got to make sure everyone else is doing something. That's what I do. And that me and Paul usually sat on a sofa somewhere doing the same thing, supervising. And that's how it tends to go.
Cheeky cunts.
I heard at Expo last year you worked Tom so much he had a heart attack and keeled over or something.
The thing was, mate, I felt like an arsehole, because not only did he keel over, he keeled over about 4 minutes before we were due to go on stage. So I had to like throw a cup of water over him, slap him about 6 times and say, "Fuck, someone get Tom a Mars bar and help me carry him down to the stage, because we're about to go fucking live." I think, you know what it was? To be honest, Chris, I'd obviously only ever seen Tom at Dale's stand at Expos, and I used to go over and I'd give Dale a hug, and I always found Tom and give Tom a hug. The first time Tom done an Expo for us, I know he was a bit concerned that he hadn't got a dedicated seat to sit down on. He had to do a whole weekend worth of work.
It was like one of them fainting goats. You know, when they get overly excited, they just flop over.
I've just spotted James from Evolution Vaping appear in the chat. Congratulations, James, and the rest of the Evolution team on getting best bricks and mortar and best e-commerce. Is that right?
It certainly is, and well deserved as well.
Well deserved. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, I mean, for those of us that weren't there, do you think there was a lot, like a bit too much gimmicky stuff there with the skate parks? And
you know what, Chris? I mean, I've been to, like Dale, actually, to sort of go on what Dale says, we go to Expo. Our setup at Expo is normally more. We use banners for the first time ever. For the last few Expos, we've actually paid to have Flotex printed, and we go there. We had the 15-metre stand last time. It took us from 10 o'clock Thursday morning. We left at 11 o'clock on Thursday night, so 13 hours. And I would say 8 hours of that was us lining that fucking stand with this Flotex shit. just because the printer had slightly fucked it up and we were struggling. I'd had it made thicker, so it lasted us for loads of expos to come, because it cost me about £2,500 or something. It was that heavy no cunt could carry, so it wouldn't stick up properly. Then it was falling, so it was getting scratched, so it ended up going in the bastard bin at the end of it anyway. This time I had some 3B 2.4 metre banners printed. They cost me about 250 quid. We got there with some cable toys, strung them up, jobs are good, and the cabinets were there. We took much less stock, and actually for the first time ever we had a nice relaxed setup where the lads were still grafting and whatever, and I was sat on Mark settling before he even arrived, making sure that would work.
I've got to say, you left just before the tear down, didn't you? They looked somewhat stressed tearing down.
I did go around and give everyone a quick hug and just say I'm out of here. See you later. I need to see my kids before they get to bed because they're back at school in the morning.
I mean, do you think the show itself reinforced that image of Vapers that everyone wears a snapback?
Well, what I was going to say, Chris, is like, obviously our setup at Expo is much more as Dale's is. Dale's normally down there on the Wednesday, and then he's building Wednesday, setting up Thursday. Every single day at Expo, even on a slow Expo, he's still fucking 20, 30, 40 times busier than this weekend at Manchester.
Yeah.
And certainly for us, we've been very lucky that we've had 5 exceptionally successful Expos. And as much as I'll walk around and I'll speak to Dale and I'll speak to Mark, and then next 2 hours later I'll speak to Dale again, you're constantly thinking, have we took the dough? Are we going to cover our costs? And certainly for me, Expos are expensive for what most people are probably looking at taking retail at Expo. The thing that I liked about the Manchester thing was that it was sort of, it was like, without being corny, it was like big enough to cope, small enough to care. It was like there was enough vendors there of the right name and the right ilk with the right sort of mix of hardware, mix of liquids. But then actually, if you were bored, you could go in the car park and get pebble dash with stones at 600 mile an hour by the bird that was drifting the BMW. Then, or you could go and watch someone having a tattoo done, or you could go around to the skate park, and it was,
what was this tattoo about? Were they giving out free Vapor Expo tattoos?
No, there was Sub-Ohm magazine.
There was people there tattooing. There was people there doing, I don't know whether they were even doing beard cutting or selling beard products. And I think, as much, and I've said this many times, I'm not that. Pardon?
What were the tattoos on?
Chris, do you know when you ask a question, it's rude to listen. It's rude to not listen to the answer.
Chris, when you go to a tattoo shop, they don't just have one tattoo; they do on everyone.
I was just about to say, I've never once gone into a tattoo shop and said, "Mate, what tattoo are you doing today?" And he goes, "Oh, we're only doing a spider today." And I go, "Oh, all right." And I'll come back, and hopefully one day you'll be doing my kid's name.
No, I get that. I was asking because I'd seen someone with a Vapers Lifestyle Sub-Ohm tattoo.
Right, the Sub-Ohm thing made me fucking howl. Right,
what is that?
Charlie who owns Sub-Ohm, right? They were sort of like the media partner for the event. And Charlie walked around. Now, everyone takes the piss out of vape tattoos, right? That's why I put, when I had my hand done, I was telling people it's not just a vape tattoo to me, it's something else. But Charlie come round to the stand, everyone's standing, says, "Do you want to get a Sub-Ohm tattoo?" And I was like, "I like your magazine, mate, but no." And he's like, "Why not? It'd be funny." I was like, "Yeah, for you, it'd be fucking hilarious." And then he's going, "Yeah, but it's just for a photo." I'm like, "For you, it's for a fucking photo, mate." I says, "For me, I've got Sub-Ohm on my fucking hand for the rest of my life." Like, I think he had in his head that there were transfers. I'm like, some geezer's going to put Sub-Ohm on my arm. Anyone who did that would have got fucking crucified on social media. And I think the guy just had it in his head that it was simply for a photo. "Oh, it'll be good. We'll put it in magazine." Well, fucking great stuff, mate. Get it on your forehead then.
Mate, he come and asked me if I wanted to have it on my arm, and I was like, I said, "If you have AF on yours, I'll have fucking Sub-Ohm on mine." And he said, "Really?" And I was like, "No, I'm fucking, I'm not having a fucking, I haven't got fucking Endless Mods tattooed on me. I'm not certainly not having Sub-Ohm Magazine's logo tattooed on me."
I swear someone sent me a picture. I can't find it now, but someone sent me a picture of a tattoo with the Sub-Ohm Magazine logo and then the Vapers Lifestyle Expo underneath it.
Yeah, some mad will have turned around to him and gone, "Yeah, sound, I'll do it for a 60ml bottle of juice, no problem. I'll get your logo." Like, they'd have been fucking running there.
See, that's what I presumed, that they were giving out free tattoos as long as you had that tattoo done.
I'm pretty sure they were offering free page spreads, weren't they, in the magazine?
If you're
Did that break
my
up?
audio.
Yeah.
I think it was mine.
What's up with my audio?
It's appalling. It sounds like you sat in a shed.
I'm sorry.
Sounds like you sat in a shed fucking about on a phone. That's what it sounds like.
Chris, can you send me that picture of that tattoo, please, on Facebook?
That's okay, and he sounds like he's wildly overweight.
Sorry, Diet Plan. Sorry, Slim Jim.
Slim Urgent.
Let me turn Chris up.
I mean, to answer your question, Chris, I think the gimmicky things, certainly for an event of that size, so even though it had pretty much all the right names in there, there's only so many times you can do that lap. And even at Expo, for as vast as Expo is, so many times you can do that lap. And if you felt, and we were blessed with decent weather as well. I didn't know we had decent weather. Every time I spoke to Tash, she'd say, it's fucking lovely outside. And I was like, I literally haven't been out. I moved from my stand to Mark Setti on the regular, and that's just depending on who was sitting down where. And if I needed a drink, Mr. Dolan, the absolute legend, was hooking everyone up with some Jeffrey's pop. But actually, when I did go outside, the weather was nice. It was warm. You could go out there. I did go and watch a bit of skateboarding. I went down to see if I could win myself some free shit and realised I would only be fighting 6 people. So I decided just to leave them to it and let them scrap over it themselves. I like the idea of that lifestyle thing. And what I was going to say was, even though I've said it a few times, and Dale knows himself. I spoke to Dale and I had a conversation about CBD before he even launched his range, and he was like, "What's your thoughts?" And I said, "You know what? I just think that I still am of real mixed opinion, and I stuck the Yorkshire Vapers CBD because it's Dale's liquid. I don't stuck anybody else's CBD." But I don't stock his oil, I only stock his liquid because you can't vape the oil. And I went down to Twitch and Lee's stand at the front, which looked like it was a fucking head shop. And at first I was a bit like, what the fuck, man? This has just got no place in there. But then actually, I suppose out of any expo that's ever going to go, that lifestyle one, it probably fit in better than anything else. For that to be on the counter at a normal expo, I don't get it at all, and I mean I said this to Lee. I'm not saying nothing I wouldn't say to his face. For me personally, CBD is a thing that should be sold in a CBD. And me and Mark had a conversation about it as well. Actually, more about the business side of it. And I'm not adverse to CBD. I've not got an issue with CBD. I do not understand CBD because it's not something that I use. Therefore, for me to sell it and some little skank walk off the street into the shop and go, "All right, mate, I heard this is the place I can buy weed from." How do we explain to him professionally and correctly exactly what CBD is and what it does and what it's for and why it's not weed and what's missing out of it that's normally in weed that makes you eat lots of M&Ms and Mars bars? I don't know. So I'm not adverse to CBD in any way, shape or form. I just think it's got a market all of its own, and in my opinion, it needs to be run way more professionally than most vape shops are run, because most vape shops have become lifestyle businesses for lots of people, and there's only a core few people in this industry. And I would say the three of us, at least 3 of us, are in this feed, is that we run our businesses professionally like a business, and there's other people that will sell mop buckets and they'll sell. No, I'm not slating anyone. There is people that literally started selling vape gear to make money, and it's made them money, and they're running the business. And every time the going gets tough, they start selling phone cases, and then oh my god, I've got a right good deal on some fucking robotic dogs for Christmas. I'll put them in the vape shop, and I'm going to sell some mop buckets and some brooms, and I just think CBD will make a lot of people a lot of money, and for me personally, I don't feel I've got enough knowledge to jump into that market and try and smash it head on, because I'd want to be able to tell everyone the ins and outs of Meg's arse about what CBD is, what it does, how it works, why this CBD is probably better for your ailment than that CBD. It's not about buying it off me legally and going over the park and smoking a big fat spliff with your pals, because it's not that thing. I was just a bit... I walked past the jars on Lee and Twitch's couch, and I was just a bit like, see, it literally just could be drugs in that jar. And you open the jar and it smells like there's drugs in the jar. and all the skateboard lads were fucking pissing themselves, thinking, "Oh, we can buy weed legally," and I'm sure they've cleaned up and had a decent weekend out of it. But it fitted into that lifestyle event for me. If I'm being honest, I don't think I'd have been so happy to see it at the Vapor Expo. If I'm being honest. But I did like the fact that you could go outside and you could go and watch the skateboarding. And someone took a picture of me talking to the man on the ICOS stand and tried to blackmail me. So,
were you abusive, Paul?
To ICOS?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I know the chap on the ICOS stand who used to work in a vape shop, and I said. He basically said, "All right, Paul," and I was like, "Fuck you, you sellout cunt." and he was like, "No, mate, what are you?" And I said, "I'm only joking." I said to him what I've said to everyone. For me, again, ICOS has a place in somewhere between smoking cigarettes and not smoking cigarettes. It has to have a place in there somewhere because it is probably healthier than smoking cigarettes. However, for me personally, the fact that I'd have to put their pods in a shotgun cabinet in my shop because it's classed as tobacco product doesn't sit right with me being sold in a vape shop. He was trying to convince me otherwise, which was at the point where I said, "Listen, I'll never stock it in my shop. I've had offers, financial offers from ICOS to put television screens in my shop windows and to sell their products, and we get a fantastic margin on it, and my staff get some sort of Amazon voucher for everyone that they sell. It'll never happen. And if I get to the point where I need to put an ICOS television screen in my shop to pay my rent, I'd gladly shut my shop tomorrow."
So we're not going to see endless fags then.
I can't even say that, mate. You know, because it could be worth millions of pounds, and I will put my hands up and say I'd sell out for a couple of mil. Now, look, I honestly, I said to the ICOS man, and I've said it to a few people that do stock it. We've had people that come into our shop. And they've tried vaping, and they've tried vaping out to lung, and they've tried vaping restricted lung, and they've tried full sub-ohm, and they've tried mech mods, regulated mods, they've tried rebuildables, they've tried sub-ohm tanks, they've gone back to mouth to lung vaping. And as the technology's progressed, I've tried to give them another more modern mouth to lung kit. And they just cannot get on with vaping. And if an ICOS is a way of them getting off inhaling burning tobacco, I would gladly rather recommend that they go down the road to X shop and they stock a device called an ICOS. And I'd rather send them there. The same way as if a weed head comes into my shop and goes, "All right, mate, have you got some of that legal weed?" I'd rather send them to a weed shop, a head shop, or a CBD shop.
I think the idea of this show really appealed to me. I'm kind of a little bit gutted I didn't go. But at the same time, because of it being like a pilot, I thought, for me to travel down, it's going to be quite sort of uncharted waters. How do you not think it went as a whole?
Well,
honestly, I think it was fantastic, and I think I'll be honest, Chris. What pisses me off is the attitude you've got right there. As should I make this effort as a pilot? When had you have been launching the new Pandora there, you'd have been there with your boots blacked because you'd have been trying to do it for you.
It's more because of the situation I'm in where I'm kind of running on limited funds at the minute. I started my new job today. Do you know what I mean? So there was other reasons why I didn't go, but it was. I'm not
a direct fuck you, Christian arsehole, and you've got no place in the industry. I get 100% that when you've got a new event like this, it is absolutely. Mark and I spent probably at least 2 days of the 3 chewing the fat on his settee, putting the worlds to rights. But one of the things that impressed me was Emil's ability through hard work to attract the vendors that he attracted to that event. And then it's always going to be chicken and egg where you've got potentially the vendors saying, "Well, hang on, this is a brand new event," as probably me and Dale did. And as a sort of, and possibly even, I know Mark was only sort of just toying with the idea at Fest when I spoke to Mark. So you've got the smaller vendors where even if that event costs you £3,000, £4,000, £5,000, it's still a lot of money if you take nothing, or you techno wholesale. Then you've got then you've got the bigger vendors who will probably, they might be spending £20,000, £30,000, £40,000 to be there. They've got to do some serious business or some serious promotion to recover that money. And I think Emil done a wicked job of getting the right names in that building.
definitely. What are your thoughts, Dale?
Huh?
They
What
give
are your
away about 8,000 tickets or something. And I was just disappointed that for all the vapors that moan about, we've got fuck all up north. There's nothing up north, and everyone, I've seen so much positive hype about this show, certainly from people from, say, Mark's neck of the woods up, saying, yes, we've got something in Manchester, who obviously, even with the free ticket, says, I can't be asked to go. And someone had commented on one of Tom's statuses saying, oh, I've heard it's been an absolute failure. And I commented saying the only people that failed this weekend was the Vapor, because actually the vendors were there. Emil done a brilliant job. The venue was good. Apart from parking, which was a fucking nightmare, quite honestly. And that's because Emil's also, for someone who's just dipped his toe into that type of thing, I cannot fault the event. Honestly, it was brilliant in there. And I think maybe because it hadn't cost us anything like the amount of money we spent to be at Expo, and I think the reason why it reminded me akin to a Vape Fest is because I could spend 4 hours sat on that settee talking to Mark, and then I could spend time talking to Dale, and I spent about 10 hours talking to Dexter, or trying to, and talking about with Al Cheapo. And so actually you haven't got that same pressure on you. You've got Expo to be at the stand selling, pushing, making sure everyone's catered for, making sure all the people that are walking past are getting dealt with and done and sorted. And I had a wicked weekend, honestly. I really enjoyed the weekend.
See, the only issues I had were small, and they were with the venue themselves, in my opinion. And I think Jay, when they come around for the testimonials, I mentioned them to Jay, and Jay told them. And I mean, and that's through no fault of their own, but it's issues that I imagine any expo would have. There were 3 toilet cubicles, right? So if you need a shit, there were 3 toilet cubicles at a show with 4 rooms. And there were quite a few people there for 3 toilet cubicles, and 2 of them didn't fucking lock. Right? Them cubicles were literally destroyed by probably myself, because the one that did lock never had any toilet roll in. The ones that didn't lock, I had to use fucking my badge, my lanyard thing to strap the door up, so no one booted door up while I'm having a shit. And also, that was my big problem. That was my main issue of the weekend. It was always when I needed the fucking toilet. And there are 3 toilets kind of just a place where they serve jerk chicken. That's not fucking on for a start. Right? Red hot Jamaican food, right? I'm roping with fucking chicken tikka, and there's the banging chicken there that's going to go through me. Like I'll be shitting through the eye of a needle, and I'm stood there nearly threatening to drag someone underneath a cubicle. Otherwise, I'm going to shit over the top of it because there's one cubicle that's fit for use.
Well, this was also something that Mark and Tom had a discussion about, and I hadn't been for a shit in that place, to be honest. But if I'd have known that there was no locks on the cubicle, I said to Tom, we could have opened a reel of 18 gauge N80, and we could have sold 18 gauge locks. So you could have went in there, twisted the 18 gauge around the door, and had a shitting piece.
And
then you're trying to get back out, and you're fucked. You're in there forever.
Yeah, but the worst bit that got me absolutely, I was in such a bad mood for whatever reason. I probably just spoke to Lindsay or something. I was in a fucking right mood, and I went to the toilet for an angry shit, right? And I sat down, and I didn't realise that the bit that the toilet thing goes into was fucking loose, right? So someone opened the door, the fucking thing flew off, and they weighed about a fucking kilo, these things, and I had fucking Under-Armour shoes on that were made of mesh, and it flew off, and just as I was saying to the guy, sat in here, the fucking thing bashed me right on my fucking middle toe, and I was just instantly like, I'm going to fucking kill whoever's at that door. I was just instantly mad, like proper fucking angry. And then I went and had some jerk chicken, that fucked me up again, so I was back in there another 4 times. And the only thing on top of that I had that griped me a bit was, and this definitely wasn't Emil's fault or anyone's. I went outside in the morning, got a bacon sandwich. Oh, can I have a can of Coke as well? The police went, we're not allowed to sell drink. I said, what do you mean you can't sell drink? You just sold me a sandwich. She said, oh, we're not allowed. You've got to go to the bar inside. So I go to the bar inside. Didn't fucking open for 2 hours. So I absolutely marched off my tits, and I couldn't get a drink until 11 o'clock. Now, that's not Emil's fault, but what venue opens a bar at 11 when a fucking event starts at 8:30, 9 o'clock?
One that's plastic cups of Coke for £2, mate. That's what sort of venue.
I could have cleaned up this weekend, and I didn't know about it until the Sunday.
Oh man,
with
honestly,
the Jeffries, with the lemonade.
Yeah. Evening, Chandler. You turned up on the Sunday night, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, ridiculously late, as per normal. Yeah, but I did notice that they split it into sessions, because it was on the tickets and on the website. It said morning 10 while 2, and then afternoon session 2 while 7. Is that right? 3 while 7, 2 while 7, something like that. Basically, when I turned up, most people had gone home. The most important people had already gone home. ICOS had gone when I got there. They packed up, they'd fucked off.
They were worried you were going to turn up and buy all their stock.
To be fair, most of
I
us
think they
stayed.
knew I was coming.
Paul stayed till about 3 o'clock on Friday, at least.
On Friday? No, I was there later than that on Friday.
Didn't end up at a casino with Bird, did you?
Nah, that's
No.
You know,
I'll tell you what.
I drove down there Thursday. I got into my house about 9 o'clock Thursday night. Me and Tash was awake until stupid o'clock, and I got back up at 6:30 to go back out Friday. Drove down there Friday, got back in the house about 9 o'clock on Friday, got to sleep at 2:30 fucking Saturday morning, back up at 6:30, drove down there Saturday. I was fucked. I'm not even joking. I was absolutely fucking knackered. And I was saying to everyone, it's bad enough when we're half an hour away from the NEC normally. 2-hour drive after that day, I was fucking writ off. Saturday, we actually left the hall around about, what time was it, Mark? We were there till about 7:30 on Saturday when we were deciding, is it shutting, isn't it shutting?
Yeah.
Went back to the hotel. We went out for a curry at about 9:15, and I got back into the hotel at 1 o'clock. My biggest complaint about the Manchester Expo is them fucking mad people in the curry houses do not understand something about mild chicken curry. I said to Mark on Sunday, I felt like I could have fucking shit through the nib of a Nick shot bottle. I swear, I was fucking, I was in ribbons, mate. I was fucked up. Every single person who ate with us, one of them being a Pakistani lad from my e-liquid, who's from that neck of the woods. I went and seen Faz on Sunday morning. I says, fucking hell, mate, that curry's gone through me like a fucking Porsche. And he says, in his words, that fucking place needs shutting down, mate. It was shocking, man. Everyone's curry was fucking next level. So we got back to the hotel about 1 o'clock. I had a couple of drinks, went up to bed, and then said, no, I'm not into that casino. I don't even earn nothing like the amount of money that James and Dale's do to be fucking flashing it around the casino.
I don't gamble.
Huh?
I don't gamble.
I went to the casino with Burr after the last expo. Him and fucking Anthony Tram. Fuck me, them boys play some bullshit games for some stupid money, didn't they? I was like, what are you even playing? I don't know. But you just put fucking 300 note down, you even know what you're playing. We'll work out when we get there, man.
I'll give props to someone special this fucking weekend. Arthur were down there. Always love catching up with Arthur, right? He's always a laugh. And he was on the zoo stand for at least 10 minutes the entire weekend, which is definitely a record for Arthur, wearing his shady sunglasses indoors. You know,
was he wearing that fancy blue suit of his again?
Well, he tries to outdo Dexter, doesn't he, every time, and he doesn't realise that he still keeps buying shit suits every time he goes. But
his glasses weren't a patch on Dexter's.
Dexter turned up in a fucking £35 white suit with iron-on logos and some LED glasses that cost him $4, and he looked fire. He literally stole the show. My man, he's fucking next-level legend. That geezer, he's funny, man, I swear. I had some laugh with Dexter all weekend. And Arthur gets all sorted.
Would that be this one?
Yeah.
Mate, he's just...
That'd be it. Oh, come on. Big screen, that.
It was the gold grill that he got in that was brilliant.
He's just fucking funny, man, I swear. Just the whole range. Al Cheapo, which is, I'm not even sure if people know who he is, but he's touch my cock. Fucking madness.
Did I see a picture with, did I see I swear I saw a picture with a phone.
Saw a picture of what?
You with that cock in front of you.
There certainly was, yeah. Spot the cock.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Dale, what were your highlights of the weekend?
I don't know, really. Like, I enjoyed the whole thing. Like, I was fucking shattered all weekend, if I'm honest. So I tried to stay away from people, like, because I was fucking shattered. Like, I said hello to Paul, said hello to Matt Burr and that, and it was you, Matt. But then most of the time, I don't mind walking around saying hello to people, but I looked like half after a weekend. Like, my eyes were glazed. I looked fucked out there. Drop of anything. And I was sat there. People would just keep talking to me. I'd be like, eh? I was getting like 4 hours sleep a night. And do you know what it was? Becca didn't pack a fan, right? I can't sleep without a fan. I haven't been able to sleep without a fan since I was 6-year-old, right? And she didn't pack a fan. I know she's new to all this export shit, so I'm going to have to give her another week or two to get used to it. But she didn't pack me a fan, and it fucked me up all week, and I was getting 3-4 hours of sleep a night, and I was absolutely fucking shagged. So the whole event was good as a blanket for me. But I just didn't do. I did so little. Like, I'm being deadly honest, I did so little. I tell you what I did do. I really, really want to do a certain stand for the Birmingham show, and I tried to build it last year, and it fucking fell over, and they killed a lot of us at work, and it didn't work. And I saw a stand with a similar sort of frame, and I was literally walking around it for half an hour, thinking, how have they fucking screwed that together? Because that will blow my mind. I'm looking at it, right, that's I was almost ripping back panels off, trying to see how they fixed it together. I'm like, I'm walking around my phone going, just taking fucking 360s. If I could get the frame started, I can decorate the fucker, so that was a bit of IP theft standard. And yeah.
A little bit of industrial espionage going on.
Well, my dad's just finished today stripping out the old warehouse and putting it back to the basics, so he's going to be bored at work for the next few weeks. So I said, yeah, Dad, I've drawn a picture of an expo stand, which is about 5 pencil lines and a load of rubbing out. I'll just say, I'll gear this, go to Wix and build us that way. So this week.
Fix this for us. Make me one of these.
Paul's
we
just
can take down and collapse.
Paul's just said in chat, Dale, I remember the glazed over look when I was talking about the rapscallion beard oils. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rapscallion beard oils. That sounds.
That was good stuff. That was good stuff.
I didn't even go into that. Like, I forgot. I said this isn't a highlight. This is a bad thing on my part. I forgot that there was more than vaping there completely until after the show when I saw all skaters stood outside, because I nearly ran a load of them over when I come flying down that exit. You know, Batman, you come out of the car park. I was that ready to fuck a form. I just fucked up out of there before everyone got the packing shit into the van. Did one, nearly bowled a load of expo. Fucking skateboard. I'm like, oh shit, there's another room. I never went in that room once. So I missed all the. Some geezer come over and tell me about beard oil. I was like, mate, I've only just sprouted one. Like, he's walking past people like Loki and Scott Goodwin who've got fucking beards out here. And I'm stood there with a few pubes in my face thinking, do you want to try some beard oil, mate? I'm alright if I'm honest.
I never. Okay, I haven't got it now, but when I had my beard, I never put any beard oil on it.
Did anyone try and sell you some Alpha-Thin caffeine shampoo, Dale?
No, I've tried. Shit.
Oh, I'm waiting for the nicotine
German
version.
engineering for your hair, mate.
What?
To be fair, I need some German engineering for my
hair. Do beard oil for neck beards.
You can talk.
Chris, mine grows on my face, mate. It doesn't look like the inside of an arse crack underneath. You look like you've got a gooch on your chin.
Apparently, if you press your temple and your gooch at the same time, you can screenshot your soul.
He's going to write that down now.
Oh, that's going to be quote of the night. I like that one.
Dale, you've still not checked your messenger. I sent you a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
I actually spent quite a lot of time with the in the lifestyle rooms. I think I spent about half an hour on the Saturday after they'd set up the boarding room, just in complete awe of these weird, mad bastards that were just flying over cars, and it was just beyond me. It was beyond me.
Did anyone get any good footage of some of that madness?
I could send you some if you want to share it.
Yeah,
I'm just seeing if I can get into. Oh, come on, Google Photos.
Chris, that photo don't bother me. It's a secret that I've got tits.
I photoshopped it to try and make it look like a woman's tit, but that didn't work because it was a bit hairy.
Is that Photoshop?
No, that's your actual tit.
Oh, right, okay. I thought it was.
There is a photoshopped version somewhere. Yeah, send me some footage, Mark, and I'll get it up.
It's on its way. I hear Professor Green wanted a photo, Paul.
I told him to fuck off, mate.
Hang on.
Now, to be honest, I walked down to the stage when Professor Green was on, and I was pleasantly surprised with how decent he was live, actually, considering they certainly never had no fully professional setup for singing. It was obviously they got the stage and stuff for music and whatever, but actually I thought Pro Green was quite good on stage.
It was pretty good.
He made quite a bold statement at the end of his set by saying, I was going to try and do whatever part of London the accent is, but I would have just sounded like an absolute prick. But he was basically saying, now you need to come over to my stand and buy the best liquid in the UK. Yeah. And I was thinking, who the fucking hell has put AF juice on his fucking stand, the mad geezer?
Mark, I hear they had some... Oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, hang on, wrong button.
I ain't going on no plane, fool.
See, I play a game called Fortnite, and one of the people in the pro tournament yesterday, they had a tournament, and the prize pool was something like $8 million. One of the pro players was called something Vape Jesus, and he owns a vape company out in the States, but he's also a pro streamer.
Sorry, just very quickly, I'm going to introduce everyone to Subvates. Hi, my name's Mark.
Hello, my name is Paul.
Hello, my name is Dale.
Hello, I'm Fat.
Hello, my name's Chandler.
Mark, I hear at this show they did a good tash wax.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
That is,
yes, I have. That was the... I do not look like that.
I'm surprised you didn't keep it like that, man.
A really shit budget Lemmy from Motorhead.
Oh dear. So sorry, Chandler. We interrupted your casting.
My casting. The casting. No, it's fine. I was just going through some pictures that I took. So I loved the Knight Rider car, and I'm not screen sharing anymore, am I?
You're not, no.
Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it? There we go. Let's do.
Trying to get this video horizontal too.
There we go. Look at that. I mean, that's awesome.
You weren't there when you got peppered. When you got peppered with stone.
Oh, was it? Did it actually drive it around and shit?
What'd you say, Dale? Sorry.
I bet some of them cars have gone home with some right stone chips on them.
Yeah,
probably. Across. Some of them have some tarmac bedded into the side sills now. You what?
Oh dear, but yeah, they did have some bands on. I mean, these are some of the pictures of the skate park. Yeah, me at random places. I actually took photographs, and I don't know what Stu thought he was doing with that mannequin, but you know. It's like, oh no. I'm trying to see. I took a bit of video. Oh, there we go. I don't know. Are we able to do this if I put it on?
Yeah, go for it.
What's
I
wrong with it?
I don't know if you can actually be able to hear it. Oh, can you hear that?
No. I didn't realise So Solid Crew was So Solid Crew there.
I was going to say I can't actually hear you over the sound. So could you hear that?
No.
No, you can't. Okay. So I can't actually hear anything because it's coming through my. But yeah, there were these guys doing doing performances, and actually it was pretty good. What they were doing. So
yeah, I got a video.
I was quite impressed. I was quite impressed with the music, and they were constantly lobbing out free bottles. So it was interesting. They kind of got the audience, almost got a captive audience, because people were standing to watch because they were getting free juice. I don't know whether there would have been people stood watching if they weren't getting free shit thrown at them. But
Yeah,
no.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, Chris.
I thought also Solid Crew worked in Asden.
Oh, the skate park. That car was actually quite cool in the middle, and they were just jumping all over it.
It was.
But
It was
to be
getting
fair,
battered. It was getting battered, but it didn't seem to move.
No. I don't know whether they got cement in the bottom of it or something, but you know, when they hit it, the suspension didn't move or anything. They were just over the top. Yeah, I was expecting the suspension to give every time they landed on the roof, but it didn't. It just looked like it was rock solid. But yeah, it was quite cool.
You got to think you were in Manchester. Wheels are probably you were being sat on bricks.
Quite impressed the wheels were still there, to be honest with you. I did see one of the lads do quite a big tumble. He went up the half pipe, grabbed hold of the edge, and went to grab his skateboard and missed it. So his skateboard went up in the air and he came straight back down again. But he got up again. But so, yeah, no, they were nuts, those guys on the skateboard.
Did he get knocked down and then get up again?
Get back up again. Yeah. No one can ever keep him down.
Oh, the irony. The irony.
Throwing fucking sticks. Just as it goes to the top of half pipe, come back down. Oh, someone's dropped a stick. Just to see how many geezers it'd take off. Saying that Josh got fucking floored. I don't know if any of you caught that. Were you there, Mark, when Josh took off and went fucking flying?
No.
That silly mad bastard, right, thought he would be able to get away with filling my fucking only T20 up with my Nick salts, my stress reliever, with a fucking Nick shot, right? I thought I'd got his bullet box when it was stew. So I come back, vaped my fucking thing, 18 milligram, blew my fucking head off. So well, that's not cool, is it? So I thought, as a 23 stone guy, what's the best thing to do? I thought I'll run after a 12 stone guy. That didn't last for too long. So Josh kept running. I didn't realise this. I stopped because I obviously had a stitch. And started set off this way to meet him, come down the back of the stand. Josh has got here, like his one leg in air to take his next step, and Scott must have booted his back leg. I swear to God, the guy went like that and just fucking flew for what looked like about 5 yards. Landed, and it literally said the oldest thing I've ever heard of people say, my back's gone, and they laid on the floor for 10 minutes. They just laid there crippled up in a ball. That was a highlight on the weekend.
Oh, bless him. I love Josh.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I like what you... I don't know if you mentioned this earlier before I got here, Dale, but we were having a chat. you were saying that the guys were coming into the event and looking at the juice, trying stuff, because they most of them smoked, so they were coming into the event. Yeah.
There was obviously the skaters were smokers, non-smokers, vapers, all sorts of people there. You tend to find the majority, 99% of the people walking around a Vapor Expo are usually vapers.
Yeah.
But obviously the lifestyle part there from people from all over the place who didn't give a shit about vaping, we're interested, we're not. And we have people coming over, trying juice, liking juice. Yeah, it was a bit of a funny thing. Oh, check me out, Snapchat, woo, all that shit. But then some of them legit bought some juice, went over and bought a pocket or something like that from Evo, and then came back and bought a bottle and probably went to other stands and actually bought bottles of juice. Yeah. So potentially, and you don't see that much at an expo, not even Vape Fest.
No.
You don't see many smokers coming to be converted, and I don't think they had the intention of that. But that was legit. We definitely converted 2 people from smoking to vaping. Whether they take it seriously after the event or not, who knows? But I
mean, to be honest, I spoke to Emil. When I spoke to Emil, Emil said to me that actually one of the things that he was trying to do was by mixing these different lifestyles into that event, that there was potentially non-smokers there that could walk around and see what the vape scene's like and hopefully switch over. So that was something that was definitely in Emil's mind. And clearly it worked, because we sold 2 triple stack dirty mods to 2 very inexperienced skateboarders. Not really. I'm joking before everyone goes, you're responsible.
Oh God, no. But yeah, it was the ideal place. I mean, like you say, Pocket's perfect starter kit. You're gonna get. They're gonna end up with a half decent setup, or something that we know we're going to recommend something half decent, and then we know they're going to have some bloody good juice to take home, rather than some shitty £2 a bottle for 10ml stuff.
Did anyone buy anything or find something different or exciting at the show?
I'll tell you what, I tried Nasty Juice's acid range, and that sour range was fucking fire. And I also tried Dr. Vape's that stuff though, or whatever it's called, and that was that good that I've ordered some already for the shop.
Wow! Oh, that's good.
I got some stuff I actually bought in a week.
Bullshit.
Well, I paid for some.
I'm trying to get off, put my bottle away now. I bought another bottle. I bought another bottle of apple and elderflower. Just because it's apple and elderflower. It's gorgeous.
It's actually elderflower and apple.
Is it? It's elderflower and apple, not apple and elderflower?
No, it clearly says elderflower and apple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you yourself constantly refer to it as apple and elderflower.
I probably do.
You have done on past shows.
What did you say, Dale?
Why are you trying to fuck with people with OCD? A comes before E. It rolls off the tongue as apple and elder. Why have you put the elderflower first? That's going to piss me off now. I'm going to stop stocking that forever, because now I know that it's going to fucking wind me up.
I've also got a bottle of the burdock and dandelion. So got a bottle of that as well.
It's got a bottle of the lemonade that is cloudy.
That's the one.
Dale.
Lemonade cloudy. No, I saw the Hammer of God. Keith had one. Bugger me, that's a mod and a half, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quad battery, dual parallel series. God fuck knows what it is, but it was a monster. It really was a beast of a mod.
Yeah, you didn't have a go on.
That have fucking car batteries in them. The fucking units like this. Squonkers with a 500ml bottle, you've got a punch to reduce your RDA.
Yeah.
Oh, on the overkill. You want about the overkill?
They're great. They're great looking squonkers, but I reckon they're about as practical as a chocolate teapot.
You didn't have a go on Paul's then? He's got his triple stack dirty, hasn't he?
I can't. No, I calmed it down by one stack actually, because Dave had done me a splatter mod, a green splatter dirty in double stack. So I put one of the stacks out the quad stack into that and made it a triple stack. So actually, we had 2 triple stacks on this time just for people to have a play on.
When we were doing that cloud comp at Dale's birthday meet, I tried using that quad stack. I was just about to shut off my phone for the evening. And I thought, oh, I want to quickly see if I've got this old picture that you sent me of your stand before. Because I was going to ask you about the stand changes for the new show. And then this old picture come up. So I thought I'd better show it.
See, do you know what I love about that picture? No, genuinely, brands involved in that picture, and both are wildly more successful than Pandora. So you keep that, and then you've got something to strive towards.
What I found mad as well is that if Manchester had done that show 2 years ago, and AV would have been there on a 3v3, they would have been fucking gang raped and swamped. And they were on a 3v3, and I've never seen it busy at all. It's just mad, isn't it, how the market fucking switched on that part of it. And I even seen some random on Sunday night posting the picture of the free mod he got off him to review for him. And he posted a link of his Instagram, and he had about 230 followers. And they'd give him a mod to review.
Was she quite busy, Dale? Because obviously she was she was right next to you, wasn't she?
Yeah, relatively, to be fair, and she's a proper lovely woman as well. Like, obviously, most of us only know of Eric, or know that Eric. It's always Eric. And obviously, she was open about the shit that she was quite openly able to call Eric a dickhead, and she was a proper lovely person. Like, she was genuinely nice. She was helpful as fuck as well. Like, really helpful for obviously. For me, where I wanted to look into going to America, Josh was straight round with his notepad, getting names of distributors that were trusted, fucking taking notes. And she was really, really fucking helpful. Genuinely lovely woman.
Did Josh nick her up?
What mod was that again?
AV.
Avid Life.
Did Josh nick her up? His old magic on this jewel, no nicotine.
He didn't. We've banned him from using anything above 20 milligram now, in case he tries to poison women and take them back to his flat.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing I was given this weekend, and yeah, and there I've left it somewhere. A little small pod.
I was going to ask you about that.
They were giving them away. They weren't selling them. I can't remember what. Anyone else remember what they were called?
They should be called the shit stick.
The what?
The shit stick.
The tiny. Are you talking about the tiny disposable?
That's
right. Are you
right.
talking about the teeny tiny disposable one? Yeah. What was it called?
Was it the sticks or something like that?
Sticks.
Something like
that.
It had got 60 milligram. Obviously, they weren't for sale. 60 milligram, and this one had got a tobacco blend in it from VGod. And at the time, when I first got it, it was just a little bit too airy for me. Wasn't tight enough. But you know what? Since the show, it's been sat in my pocket, and I keep pulling it out and using it. Now, I know, didn't one of your guys, Paul, have an issue with theirs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that one is the sticks or whatever it's called. He's a product that Taz, who owns Grey Eyes, he's got something. TPG stock hadn't got there, so he actually these away. And I went and got one just because I made it too long. I didn't realise it was 50 milligram salt, so I had an episode similar to what you see when you see these people posting these videos of someone that's fucking smoked some spice. Because 50 milligram just doesn't sit right with me at all. One thing that I didn't like, I actually thought the draw wasn't too bad, to be honest. I know Mark likes a tight draw because actually we were fucking about with the AO and he had a go on that. What I didn't like about it is it tasted like a very old school cigarette type vape. I don't know whether it's the silica wick in there or I don't know what it was, but it just got a very old school taste to me that I didn't particularly However, they can be a massive thing for people that want to have a packet of them in the glove box in the car. So if you're out and about and you vape, like, I mean, I dropped my AO on fucking Saturday, and it was only because I dropped my Joytech AO and it fucking broke to bits. I'd still got the Nautilus AO on me, but I didn't have the charger, so I had to take another charger, and it was just a pain in the arse. But for me, that type of device is wicked for someone who is a genuine mouth-to-lung vapor, just to have an emergency stash of fags in the glove box. So if they are out and about, you can pick one. You can have a chung on it.
What were they?
Jack used one for a 5 crack. About 3/4 of the tube of it was left before the battery had gone flat.
What were they saying?
Yeah, I agree with Paul. Adds to the flavour of it. Like the flavour was reminiscent of something old school, which didn't do it for me. But what pissed me off more than anything was the claim that it lasted 2-3 days. There's no fucking way on earth a USB stick size mod's going to last you half a day, maybe towards. But you look to the price point of them retail, 17 quid for 3 of them. The only people they're rivaling is Lambert and Butler, because you can. I'm not trying to advertise cigarettes. You divide that into a cost of 3, and you can buy a pack of Sterling for the same money. Now I don't know about in your shop.
I said exactly that to Mark. I said I think if I was to use that type of product exclusively, I honestly think I could use 3 a day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even if you did use 1 a day, right? Say if you did manage to get 1 a day, and it's you fix as the biggest arguments I know that we have in the shop is people who have got yeah, but it's healthier. A lot of credit is smoking for the wrong reason, financially. Well, I wouldn't say it's the wrong reason. It's not the main reason that you should quit smoking. The health is the main thing.
And that's exactly what I said to Mark. I gave up smoking for money, not for my health, because I was fucking 25 stone. On 60 fags a day, at the time, £22 a day on 60 cigarettes. So now, I mean, I don't know if it was me and you that had this conversation, Mark, or it was me and somebody else about, like, if the price of vaping rivaled the price of smoking, for absolute convenience, there's a 95% chance I'd go back to smoking.
It says here, right, that those pod things, they are capable of between 240 and 270 puffs, but they've got a 270 mile battery. How the fuck does that compute? There's no way you're going to get 250 puffs out of that battery.
No, Mark, you said someone had one where the battery ran out before the juice tank did.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack was using one. Jack had a couple of them, but he was using one, and the battery lasted about 4 hours. And when he broke it all open, there was still 3/4 of the volume of the liquid that he started off with in there. That's assuming that's assuming the liquid capsule was full right to the top as well.
They're disposable, aren't they?
They are. Jack broke it open. If Jack's dog died, he'd break it open to see what was wrong with it. That's the sort of person Jack is. You need to understand that he's the most random person in the world. Jack is the sort of person, if I phoned Jack up and said, Jack, do me a favour, come over tomorrow with some clippers, I need to shave a goat. Jack wouldn't even ask why I'd got a goat, and he'd just say, yeah, I'll be over in about 10 minutes. The bloke's random as fuck. So he just took this thing apart just to see what was inside it, how it worked, and the capsule that was holding the liquid was still 3/4 full, and his battery was goosed.
So it's essentially
yeah, but they've got 1.2 mil in it, but they're cut off after a mil, so that you never get a dry hit. Apparently. Now, what you just said about 240 to 270 puffs. Early on, when I started, I smoked a fag to count how many puffs I had on an average cigarette, and it was 13. Right now, obviously, I know people smoke fags differently, but 13 was my average number. And I times that by the 40, 50 fags I have in a day, which was 600 odd puffs. And the reason I did it was my Vamo V5 had a puff counter on it. I wanted to see how much I was using. And I was using my Vamo 1,500 puffs a day compared to the 520 to 600 using. So they're comparing, on their puff count average on what they're comparing is equivalent to 20 cigs. Now you look at what does it work out? £5.60 or something for one of these things individually as a pack of 3. And you can buy a pack of sterling for £6 now. I'm in no way advocating smoking. That's the only thing on their mind quitting smoking. That's not enough of a temptation for me. That's putting temptation back into fags, not into vaping.
It's like, like saying, there you go, is the equivalent of 20 cigarettes, and it's exactly the same price as a packet of fags.
Yeah, and that's the point that I said. I think it was, is that for me now, where I could probably count on 2 hands how many fags I've smoked in the last couple of months. For me to have a packet of them in my, I mean, it's different for me because I can just have a fucking whole setup in my glove box as a spare, and I used to travel around with a complete mod, spare coils and liquid and whatever in my car. I just think they're handy, but I think the price point is completely to bollocks on them.
I think
really cool.
I think Paul's got a really good point. He's just said in chat, how bad are they for the environment? Is the unit biodegradable? If not, it just means more plastic and metal going into a landfill.
I did think that metals recyclable. That's the same as the TPD fucking people over with 10ml bottles. Think of just how much more waste there is from 10ml bottles, and I mean that's been affected by short fills anyway. But in the early stage of TPD, the government didn't give a fuck about bottles. There were fucking millions of these fucking things going out, which could have been done 10%, 90, well, 100% smaller nearly by getting into 900% smaller by going to 100ml bottles. You know what I mean? We've all established that there's no more fucking danger from 100ml than there is for a 10ml. But that argument's been done. But everything about that, like I say, screams shit recycling.
Yeah,
it does seem to be quite. Go on, you go, Chris.
I seen this the other day. So this is a magnetic USB charger, right? So you can either use 18650 to charge your phone, or you can use it as a USB charger for an 18650.
What?
Is that just magnetic ends as well?
Yeah.
I'm just asking for trouble.
Has it got? Presumably, it's got positive and negative on each of the 2 contacts.
Yeah. You can see it there. Just about.
No, I was going to say I can see positive, negative on the battery.
So you can either charge your battery through USB, or you can charge your other USB devices through that.
Oh, that's crazy.
That is essentially, if that worked and it was safe, which I'm not saying it will work or it is safe, that would cut out the need for me to carry an extra backup around. But I'm always able to plug a USB in wherever I go. And I've always got a battery on me that's half dead. So I just thought that was a bit of kit there. If it works.
Yeah, but how long is it going to take a USB port to charge an 18650?
I've no idea, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I would have.
Chris,
I don't know.
Chris, you need to design me an RDA with a USB connection on it, but just fucking stack that thing between 2 batteries and make some mad funky bare bones. 2018 edition.
I actually really like the bare bones. It didn't take off. It wasn't that pretty, but I liked it.
It hit like a sledgehammer.
I've got one. I've got one sitting on there somewhere.
I've got an 18350 one that Stephen Greenwood sent me. That was the sort of random things that Stephen Greenwood used to do. For every vape mail that I ever sent Stephen Greenwood, he sent me something in return in the post.
Yeah, so he bought something off your website, and then you got more value out of what he sent you than he got out of his buy.
Yeah, he's just a good. I mean, Stephen Greenwood single-handedly probably helped 80% of every retailer in this country 3 years ago, just getting a little bit of stability into their company.
He's such a top geezer.
If someone had some coils on offer that Stephen Greenwood liked, he'd buy 22,000 of them because that's the coil that his missus uses or whatever. He's just a top bloke.
Yeah, he'd buy 2 of every tank and then 10,000 10,000 coils to go with it, and then it
See what
changes.
he comes into work like, mate. You want to see what he comes to? What he comes to work on a Saturday, right, with a Callmaster case, and he opens it up, and I think every Friday night he must whip 10, 12 different tanks. He's got he takes a photo of each tank with the bottle of juice that he's got in that tank, so that he knows when he gets to work, if he's going to put a new tank on, he can swipe for his photos and see what juice he's got in that tank.
Oh, no, that's nuts. Can't you just sniff it like everybody else does?
Well, he's getting on a bit now. I think he's lost all sense of smell and taste.
Oh, no, fine.
Is he?
What was that?
Is he still working for you, Dale?
Yeah, still this Saturday.
Yeah, who else is he going to get to pay him money while he wicks his tanks?
What were you saying, Chandler?
I was going to say, Matt, what was that pod system that you showed me that you saw at Manchester?
Again, I've put that down somewhere too. What's Victor's mod called? The Zel2, is it?
Yeah.
I was trying to Google it and just couldn't, because I could not remember what it was called.
I think it's called the Zel2.
It is the Zel.
Zel, as in Z-E-L-L?
No, Z-E-L-T-U. Zel2X, I think it is.
Found it.
It's a little 1,000 milliamp hour refillable pod system. I actually frantically dug around for it tonight before I came on so I could show it.
Oops.
But I can't find it. So far so good. I've got nothing apart from the fact it's not quite tight enough for me, and the magnets on it are impressive. The magnets on it are seriously impressive.
Oh, eBay, don't want that.
Don't want eBay.
No.
There we go.
Enter. There we go. That's it.
There we go. So a 2mm pod system, 1,000 milliamp hour battery, and literally all held together with magnets. So you pull the pod out really easy. There's if you just scroll up, Ian, on the see that metal disc on the top.
This one.
Yeah, there literally that unscrews. You squirt your juice in, you screw it back down, you hit the button, and you vape away. It's as simple as that.
And if you pull on that, doesn't that pull the pod out?
Yeah, it does. Grab hold of the drip tip and pull, and the whole pod comes out, ready to change for the next one.
Yeah, there's the pod. So I don't know how much it holds, but it's
2mm. 2mm.
It's quite. 2 mil, I suppose. Yeah, TPD.
1.0, 1.8 ohm. Oh, yeah, mine were 1.8. I'm sure they were.
That one's a 1.2. That one said 1. The other one said 1.6 on it. That one says 1.6.
Oh, okay.
That one says 1.2.
But no,
it looks like it's made by SOI.
Somebody else said that to me over the weekend. It does look a bit Sub-Zero-ish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks quite cool.
But no, I've been using mine. It's kind of been a backup mod. It's sat in my pocket at work past couple of days. But no, I like it. And
Mark, do you remember when we were at Expo and we found that weird looking pod system? We were like, oh, it's going to be amazing when it works out.
Yeah.
And we've never seen it since.
No, I'm not sure I'd remember it if I saw it anyway.
Yes.
There we go. Some of the feedback. Great little mod from Vic. 1.6 cartridge is better in the Zel2 than the 1.2. It's a wicked bit of kit. Great pod. Been using one for a while. Yeah, I'm happy with it. You know, it's the magnets.
I like the fact that you could take the cap off and then it sticks to the bottom. So when you take the top cap off, you can stick it to the bottom, and you've got all in one. Because I gave my missus a breeze, and I gave it to her, and the day after, I have never seen the top cap since. The top cap's just gone, so I don't know what she's done with that. But
have you got one, Paul? Have you got one of the Zel2s?
I haven't got them. No, I'm going to be stocking them in the shop though, because the first time I tried it was at the last Expo. And the chap who's behind it in the UK actually came over to me and says, "Look, I know you make the long vapor and blah blah blah." And to be fair, it's been more of, it's not because I've never wanted to stock it, it's just out of being busy. And I went and spoke to him on Saturday, and I've got his details to hook him up, but I am going to get him in the shop because actually for me, it's a 1,000 watt LiPo as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
1,000 mAh LiPo.
Yeah.
And for me, 1,000 mAh LiPo always seems to last longer than the equivalent in shittier type batteries that they stick into these pod systems.
You see,
I've
not charged mine. I got mine on Saturday, I think. Used it Saturday night, a little bit on Sunday, and a few bits and bobs throughout the day since then. And it's still going. It doesn't need charging yet.
And everyone that I know,
the pods aren't expensive either.
No, they're not.
£4 a piece, or £10 for three. On that website, what's that? Baum Vape. It doesn't seem particularly expensive for pod cartridges.
Yeah, completely inexpensive.
So everyone that I know that uses it has actually sort of complimented how well the 1,000 mAh lasts. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be an exceptionally good battery in there.
I think,
and it will do with a 1.6 as well.
Yeah, I think it's because, you know, I really like the styling on it. I think it's the first real pod system that looks mature. It looks grown up. It looks funky. It's affordable, and yeah, I just think it's a nice little system.
It's very simple, isn't it? It's just a little nice rounded box with.
I think the only thing it misses is the diaphragm, so you can sort of pull to fire kind of thing rather than having to press a button. And I do like that about some pod systems. That you just
shiny.
Say again, Dale.
Is that the rectangular silver one with like the letters etched in it and the magnetic top that go on the bottom?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, I've not been able to find. I've not found a drag pod system that allow. I mean, the Breeze, I use the button on it, and the ones that have been drag fires, they're okay, but I'd rather have a button.
So the only one genuinely that I've enjoyed using, I don't like diaphragm switch, but this cobble, I don't know if it's because of the size of it, there's nowhere to physically feel like you need to press a button. The only thing I've ever used that's auto firing that works for me, where I don't ever press my button on the AO and on the early Breeze, I still prefer to use the button. And it's as if in most of them, this is the first pod system I've had where again, take a drag on it and it works. Most auto fires, self-firing, I find I have to double drag them, and then because you stop taking the second drag, because you stop inhaling as you double dragging, you stop fucking firing. So on the Breeze, for argument's sake, I had to use the switch because actually it was too airy for me, and then I was trying to double drag it to get a decent drag, and it's just cutting in and cutting out, cutting in, cutting out. But actually, this cobble, honestly, is the first thing I've used that auto fires when you inhale, and you can take a drag straight off and get a decent exhale on it as well.
Yeah.
So I'm of mixed opinion with auto firing. I've always found any self activated system up to now has been too airy for auto fire for me personally.
The ones I've always tried, the auto fire has stopped before I finish taking my drag. I'm still pulling on it, and it stops firing, which drives me up the wall.
I had that Joytech one. Whatever Reed was selling? I can't remember what they're called. The Joytech pod system. Where's that gone back? That yellow one that you had? You take it back.
Lost Vape pod with an evolved chip.
That looks decent. That. It'll be expensive, like, but for the Lost Vape ones do look pretty smart.
Yeah, it'll be impressive. I'm interested in trying that. I'll give that one a try.
I've always liked Lost Vape stuff.
It's the one. That's the one that. Let me show this. Let me. I'm on the wrong flipping thing. Hang on. Let me get that back up again. It's the one that looks like a mini CB radio, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the one that I have with Rick, which is the Joytech Teros, and it vapes really, really well. So that's the actual mod there. Again, pod system pulls out, fills from the bottom as standard. The one thing that I did find with this is exactly what Chandler said. He's like, actually, I can't get a full drag out of it, and then it works for me. When I was using this before, I was definitely running out of. It was cutting out before I'd finished the drag. But that vapes really well. It's probably just on the over airy for me. Really, really feeling device because it's quite weighty. It's nice and thin. It's nice and small, and that works really well as well. And actually, that was a gift off Rick, and he's normally as tight as a Yorkshireman. I'm joking, Dale. No, but that's a quality one as well. And to be fair, obviously, I would say in the last fucking 5 months, after mouth to lunging consistently for 6 years, I've literally been buying new systems left, right, and centre because they've not been out there in the past. Like, we went through such a boom of sub-ohm and everyone not giving a shit about the mouth to lung vapor. Every time something new comes out, I try to buy it because I'm just trying to find something different that I can use that weren't an AO. So I had the blue that you started off with on Mark earlier on. I bought one. In fact, I got that off the blue rep who came into the shop. I've had the AO. I've had this. I tried the Breeze 2. I tried the Sprite, which I loved. I love that 1.2. I'm calling that Sprite. It's fire again because it's got like the cigarette type ramp up where it drag and it's done and dusted.
I know Chris really liked it, didn't you?
I was a big fan of that.
Well, guys, we're about. I can hear myself. That's freaking me out.
You mute yourself on Hangout.
We're at the show.
Mute
Thank you very
yourself
much
on the Hangout, Mark. Mute yourself on the Hangout.
I can hear myself on the Hangout.
The Hangout.
Let me mute myself. Yeah, I can hear myself back. There we go. Thank you very much for joining us. We've just set up a hangout for anyone that wants to join us. I will pop the link before the end of the show in the chat. I think to summarise tonight's show, I think the Manchester show for us was absolutely incredible. Enjoyed hanging out. Enjoyed the vibe was fantastic. I think it's an excellent foundation for next year's show. I'm really looking forward to next year's show. I've spoken to Emil today, and he was saying that they've started to plan next year's show already. So it's definitely a go. Hopefully we'll get more people there next year. If not, I don't give a shit. I get to hang out with the people that I enjoy hanging out with. You know, we don't get many opportunities to hang out as vendors as often, I think, as we'd like to. But no, it was a fantastic show. No, Paul, you enjoyed it. Dale, you had a cracking time. And I think from Chandler, from a vendor's, from a retailer's point of view, I think safe to say you enjoyed what you saw. I know you turned up to the party pretty late, but
it was. I love it was all the alternative stuff that wasn't necessarily vape related. The fact that they've got music on the stand, it wasn't just on the stage rather. It was great. Yeah, loved it.
Cracking. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Dale, for being with us tonight. I have popped the Hangout link in chat already. If anyone's got an issue following that link, I know some people struggle. Drop me a PM on Facebook and I will send you an alternative link. But thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye.